For Hades 2, I've done everything. Full progression, multiple runs, upgrades, achievements, the full experience. This is what the game actually feels like when you put 100 hours into it. Hades 2 is a sequel to one of the most beloved roguelikes ever made. And the good news is, it keeps everything that made the original great, while also improving on top of it in meaningful ways. You play as Melinoe, the daughter of Hades and the sister of Zagreus, the protagonist of the first game. She was raised and trained as a witch, so this time around you're much more of a magic-focused character. Without going into spoilers, you've been working towards a goal your entire life, and now it's finally time to act on it. Your main base is in Crossroads, where you interact with a wide cast of characters. Most of them have their own side stories that progress as you talk to them, complete certain tasks, or simply play. There's also a system called the List of Prophecies, which works as a guide for your progression, giving you direction to focus on while also rewarding you with materials for upgrades. Like any roguelike, you're expected to improve over time. And once again, the Olympian gods return with their boons, some familiar, some new. But one of the biggest improvements here is balance. In the original Hades, I found myself relying on the same few boons almost every run. For example, Athena's dodge, I pretty much used in every single run, and if I didn't have it, the run was probably over if the fear level was quite high. Now, Hades 2 fixes that. No single boon feels mandatory, and almost every combination feels viable once you understand how it works. That makes experimentation much more rewarding. You're not just repeating the same strategy, you're constantly adapting and trying new playstyles. Personally, I had my preferences and often gravitated to a certain cast, but nothing ever felt required, and that's a huge improvement. Another big change is the structure of the game. Hades 2 introduces two main paths, the underworld and the surface. Each one has its own regions, enemies, bosses, and even different Olympians offering boons. Both paths consist of 4 regions, each ending with a unique boss. This adds a lot more variety compared to the first game. Runs feel less repetitive, and the overall lifespan of the game is significantly longer. From my experience, the underworld felt easier overall. The surface, on the other hand, was much more challenging. I struggled there for quite a while, especially with the later bosses. The third boss alone took me multiple attempts before I fully understood the mechanics, and even once I got past that, the final area was the whole new level of difficulty for me. But that progression, learning, adapting, and eventually overcoming those challenges is what makes the game so satisfying. Hades 2 has a lot more systems to engage with when it comes to progression. Back at the Crossroads, there are multiple ways to get stronger over time. There's a cauldron that lets you brew upgrades that unlock new mechanics, improve your base, or help progress the story. Later on, you unlock a garden where you can grow materials needed for crafting and upgrades. There's also Arcana system, which acts as your core progression. You increase your capacity over time and activate cards that give you passive bonuses. Things like revives, mana regeneration, or improved movement, whatever you choose to pick up. Weapons are another major part of the experience. There are 6 different weapons, each with completely unique playstyles, and each weapon has multiple aspects of their own as well, and they change the way the weapon works, giving it even more variety. Early on, you'll probably stick to few weapons you're comfortable with, but over time, as you understand the systems better, almost every weapon and aspect becomes viable and fun to use. You can also upgrade them further to enhance their strengths. On top of that, you unlock animal familiars that assist you during runs with their own bonuses. And of course, keepsakes return as well, earned by gifting nectar to characters. They give you additional advantages and let you level them up by clearing encounters with them equipped. All of these systems combined create a lot of depth and a lot of things to work towards without making the game feel overwhelming. Now, for the replayability, it is one of the Hades 2 strongest aspects. Because of how flexible builds are, runs don't feel repetitive even after dozens of hours. And once you get more comfortable with mechanics, completing runs become fairly consistent. But the game also gives you control over difficulty through the fear system. You can increase modifiers to make the game harder, which can also reward you with additional resources if the fear level is high enough. So whether you want a more relaxed experience or a real challenge, you can tailor it to your level. and that balance works really well. Now for the 100% journey and achievements. Going for 100% in Hades 2 is mostly about fully engaging with everything the game offers, like completing runs, upgrading all your weapons and systems, progressing character stories, and finishing list of prophecies, at least the major ones. Most achievements come naturally as you play, as long as you interact with characters whenever you are in the crossroads. It didn't feel grindly personally for the most part, mainly because the gameplay itself is so enjoyable. Also, Hades 2 is kind of a game you can play while watching something on the side and it still feels great. I originally played the Hades 2 when it released in early access on Steam, and I put around 40 hours into it before I stopped. After that, once the version 1.0 released, I started a fresh save to experience everything properly, and that fresh save took me 100 hours to reach 100%, which is quite beautiful. And that's also in the line of the average user time to finish the game. By the end of the main story, even a bit further actually, I was only missing around 10 achievements, and most of them were straightforward to clean up. There was really only one that felt kind of grindy, and that was winning around with each weapon aspect. Now, it only felt grindy because I realized that even though I used many aspects throughout the game, I hadn't actually won with most of them, because I probably played on a higher fear level and eventually failed the run, and that meant I had to go back and complete a lot of additional runs just for that requirement. So it wasn't difficult, it was just time consuming. Therefore, if I had to give you one tip, try to win runs with as many different weapon aspects as possible throughout your playthrough. It will save you quite some time at the end. As for difficulty, there are only a couple of achievements that you really need to lock in for, and one of them involves tackling stronger version of your region bosses, and the other one is completing a run at high fear levels, which means you'll need a strong build and a good understanding of the game. But overall, nothing felt unfair, just demanding. Now for the story, presentation is exactly what you would expect from Supergiant. The art style is incredible, animations are smooth, and everything is easy to read and understand, even in more chaotic fights. Now the soundtrack is truly amazing and it feels quite iconic. It adds intensity when it's needed, then it changes its tone on more emotional moments. Most of the time it really feels like I'm doing something truly epic. As for the story, I'll keep it spoiler free. It does its job well, and there are some great character moments, especially for the little side stories. Personally, I really loved Dora's storyline, who is this shade that greets you in your room after every run. However, the main ending felt a bit underwhelming. However, at the same time, that's something expected given the nature of the main antagonist, at least in my opinion. And honestly, I don't play Hades for story, you know? It's all about the amazing gameplay loop, and that's the main reason to come back to the game, to keep doing your runs, progress your equipment, and everything else. Overall, Hades 2 is a fantastic sequel, because it keeps everything that worked in the first game and actually improves on it in meaningful ways. It's more flexible, more balanced, and more rewarding the deeper you go. If you like the original Hades, this is the easiest recommendation. And if you haven't played the Hades at all, I'd honestly recommend playing them both. Start with the first one and then go to the second one. The first game is still a masterpiece in its own right, and there's no reason for you to miss out on it. Supergiant Games really delivered with their first ever sequel. If you would benefit from a spoiler-free 100% reviews, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. So I'm signing off.